Veda or in Sanskrit, the term for exercise is Vyayama. Vyayama is the term for Sanskrit. I'd like to bring in the Sanskrit verses. You need not know Sanskrit, you need not understand anything from the Sanskrit words because I'm going to explain you. But we lose the charm of the subject when we miss out Sanskrit completely. When it is translated, we lose the charm of it. So I'm including some aspect of Sanskrit, but I'm going to explain everything word by word. The definition of exercise or Vyayama, as we see in the Shastras, Sharira Ayasa Jananam Karma Vyayama Ityuchate. That is, any activity that is giving some kind of tiredness to the body or the person is called as an exercise. In those days, even hunting is considered as an exercise because they walk, they search and do things. So any physical activity that brings in tiredness to you is considered as an exercise. So immediately after giving this statement, Acharyas in the Shastra have explained that Laghavam Karma Samarthyam. It's a beautiful benefit, or I would not tell it is a benefit, rather I would tell what is that one person experiences after doing exercise. What should one feel after doing an exercise, after doing a session of exercises? That one should experience lightness in the body. And one should have karma samarthyam. Karma samarthyam means one should be ready to engage in the next work. There should be a readiness to engage in the next work, or there should be a what next kind of a mentality. What next? What shall I do next? That kind of a feel should be there when one finishes his or her exercise. But in the present day scenario, when people finish their workouts and come home, they're having direct opposites of these two. That is, people, instead of having the lightness experience, people have the sensation of heaviness, pain all over the body. They feel so heavy. And what people do is, what we see is, after a session of exercise, instead of having the karma samarthyam, that is, what next, what shall I do next, that kind of a feeling, many a times people are going and taking rest. People explain that after exercise, I have to lie down and rest for 15-20 minutes. If not, I cannot do any work during the day. The people are doing exercise and waiting for the time to take rest. So, which is totally against the logic of exercise. That is, if we do exercise, you have to feel the lightness, you have to be ready, looking forward for the next work. But in current scenario, people are feeling heaviness and people are tired about next work. They are not ready for the next work unless or otherwise if they take a good amount of rest before they get into the next work. So there is a contradiction. So people don't do exercise or Vyayama as suggested in the Shastra. So what is suggested in the Shastra, we are going to see. But at this time, when we talk about exercise, unfortunately, yoga gets mingled up with that. When we ask people during the consultations or during the discussions, do you exercise? They tell, I go for running 2 times a day. Then I do yoga 3 times a day. So yoga is unfortunately considered as an exercise, unfortunately. So what is the difference between yoga and what is the difference between Vyayama at the definition level? At a practical level, yes, I am going to differentiate when you can do exercise, when you should not do, and when you can do yoga asanas, when you cannot do. All that I'm going to tell. But at a definition level, when we talk about asana, the definition of asana is thiram sukham asanam. That is a position in which one feels stable and one feels so comfortable. So this is also not experienced when a person is doing asana. Now the trend of asana is that they push as much as possible to attain a posture. Sirshasana, Dhanurasana, Chakrasana, what they do is they do it with so much of difficulty, push their body too much and do an asana. When they do an asana by pushing their body, it is not asana, it is vyayama. It is not yoga asana, it is not a yoga posture, it is vyayama. It is an exercise, because when you do this, you feel the tiredness in the body, which means that you have done an exercise or a vyayama. So what is really an asana? An asana is something which you do, and in that position you feel so stable and so comfortable. If you are not experienced that stability and comfortability, you are not doing an asana, rather you are doing an exercise. So there is no point in doing an exercise adopting various postures of yoga. You don't get a special benefit. So we have a mix up at the level of yoga and vyayama also. We are going to talk further about it also. So even if you have some little grayness in this understanding, do not worry, we are going to discuss it. This is an explanation at a definition level, which I want to make it very clear.